These are white people using
Sade
their white
Perkins.
power.
And a whole lot of you other sisters, what did we say that we were going to do after the election? After the 92% of us voted for Kamala Harris, what did we say that we were going to do? We said we were going to do this. But a bunch of y'all can't do that. And this is what's happened with Sade Perkins. Now let's talk a little bit about Sade Perkins, and I'm going to tell you why she's going through what she's going through. Now, Sade Perkins is a sister in Houston that does a lot of good work. So she helps with food insecurity. She has gotten a lot of the black farmers, and there's a black farmers market in Fifth Ward. And from what I can understand from reading up on it, is that she helps to bring healthy foods to communities that have a desert there. When I say a desert, a food desert means they can only go down to like the corner store and buy a bunch of greasy pig feet and things like that, right? So she has raised some $250,000 or helped get $250,000 for black farmers that are in the area to sell their food to people in Fifth Ward. Then she was nominated and was put on a board for what's called food insecurity in Houston. Now, it doesn't pay anything. And the position was over with January the 21st, but the mayor has come out and says, oh, I'm not going to. He made it sound like that she was being kicked off of this board. Now, this board, all it does is what she basically is doing is they talk about like people that are homeless and people that need food, and talk about where they should set up like farmers markets and things like that. It is not a paid position. There are 19 people. And again, that position ended in January of 2025. So people that are all on the internet, she lost her job. She didn't lose her job. And second of all, you can't really lose your job when you're serving the community. And like I said, she is like getting like healthy food and bringing it to the to communities that are underserved. So she didn't lose her job. But the reason that people are so excited about this is because she made a comment about the flooding that happened in Central Texas over the 4th of July. And in that flooding, we know that more than 100 people now have lost their lives, and there's still a bunch of people that are missing. But the main story was a camp called Camp Mystic, where several, like 700 girls go every year, that having been a news anchor in Central Texas, having grown up in Texas my entire life, I had never heard of Camp Mystic or all of those campgrounds. And when you look at the history of Camp Mystic, you see people like former first ladies that have gone to Camp Mystic. And I don't know, it just seems like it's an era camp. The camp costs like $5,000 for the kids to go to for the summer. And a lot of the kids that are there, their parents are very wealthy, and they were, traveling around the world while the girls were at the camp. And looking at it, I hadn't seen anybody black at the camp. No diversity at the camp, and which is fine. Who gives a flying? Because I know that when I was younger, I wouldn't have wanted to go to Camp Mystic just by looking at that looks like it has nothing to do with me. And speaking of it having nothing to do with us, that's what Sade said. She said what a lot of people were thinking, but just weren't saying out loud. And actually, a lot of people did say it out loud. But for some reason, the black woman that said it was the one that everybody pounced upon, because everybody has been waiting to be able to jump black women, because we're supposed to be the work mules. We're supposed to be the ones that are leading everything. They assumed that after Kamala Harris was cheated out of the election, they assumed that we'd be marching and we'd be on the front lines of immigration, on the front lines of all of these changes that are happening. Welfare, which most black women are not on, and people of none color are the biggest recipients of welfare. But they just had this idea that black women were going to be in the streets and we were going to be marching like we did during 2020 when Black Lives Matter was started by black women, and we were leading it. And even back in the civil rights movement, where we find that a lot of black women were making the decision to send their children to schools like Ruby Bridges to integrate schools. Like, we sending our babies there to integrate schools, right? We as black sitting on the bus, right? So a lot of these things, they were started on the backs of black women, and we took all the licks and got all the scars. And so people still expect us to be the work mules. And we said, Sade and other black women that can't stay off of social media commenting about the world the way that it is now, when we knew that it was going to be this way if Kamala Harris if she got cheated out of the election or didn't win the election. 92% of us voted. We had our say. What Sade said basically is that it was going to get a lot of attention because it was wealthy white children who drowned. That's what she said. She never, as a matter of fact, she said that people should help to find them. She said some things about being sad about it, but by the time they finished with it, because, with black women, the angry black women, how everything that we say can be twisted around. Instead of now looking for the children and raising funds and helping the people in Central Texas, people are now focused on, we got this black woman, we got her fired, you done lost your job. No, she didn't lose her job. She didn't even lose her position on that food insecurity committee with the city of Houston because it was already over. So black women, we do need to keep our mouths shut when it comes to what's going on in the political realm, because we did our part. There's nothing else that we can do. We showed up at the polls and we voted for Kamala Harris. Let them do it. It's their turn. America has suckled off of our breasts since the beginning of America. So what are they doing? They are waiting for any one of us to say something that they can hold on to. Because you've got white people saying the same thing she said. You've got black men saying it. You got white men saying it. And somehow the black woman that said it, she is now the poster child for evil.
She will be
People are always
remembered
trying to
for
get
this
black women.
comment
And that's why
for the
we said
rest of her life.
that we are
Now, do you
going
guys don't know what
to
our
close our mouths. We did our part. And now it's y'all's turn. Just turn off the damn TV and stop looking. We said we were going to do that. Get off Mammy Mountain. We did our part. Go on vacation, go to the gym, get another degree, braid your hair, do something else, but get off of social media talking about issues that wouldn't even be issues if people had voted the way the 92% of us did.